Hello guys, welcome back to Visordown. My name is Alex, and as you'll see next to me is the Honda Africa Twin. Cast your mind back to the end of last year and I was on the Honda NT 1100 launch, which was fantastic, great fun. But you might remember me saying in that video, I've never actually ridden the Africa Twin. So the motor that's in the NT 1100, it's also in the Africa Twin. I know is the NT 1100 motor, weirdly. So we've basically arranged this for me, and I've lived with this one for around about a month. I've been riding around town, into cities, around the local country lanes, and doing some long distance tours day and night. So I've got quite a good idea about what this is about. So let's go into what I think about it. So first things first, of course, it's the Adventure Sports model that I've got next to me. So it's the Africa Twin 2022 model with DCT, and it is £17,349. But Honda have got some pretty good deals running at the moment, at least, and you can look at picking up an Africa Twin from around £109 a month, which to me is just simply absurd, because £109 a month is exceptional. Anyway, moving on, let's start with the engine. It's of course, parallel twin. It's a famed motor that everyone knows and loves, really. About 100 brake horsepower and around, 105 newton meters of torque. And it's an absolute peach, I've got to say. You've got so many rider modes on this to pick from, so many electronic assists and gadgetry to help you along the way. And it's a really enjoyable motor to work with. You can flick it into the DCT mode manual, or you can have the sport mode or just the normal drive mode. You've got your individual up and down shifters as well. And yeah, it's just a superb motor to work with, so easygoing, and it just does everything you need it to. With the DCT, you can switch it into a sort of S mode, and that has 1, 2 and 3 options on the S mode. So 1 will be a little bit more conservative, whereas 3 is going to be really like hammer fisting and just holds on to gears as long as possible. Of course, you can always manually override that with the triggers, switch gear. Yeah, it does really well, and it really is a nice system to work with. Let's go front to back, and I'll cover a few bits that stand out really. So at the front, really the hoops are the first thing you look at. It's the Metzeler Karoo Street. They're not really off-road tyres at all. They're more just sort of all-purpose touring tyres. They do handle dirty, muddy trails okay, but they're not going to be good enough to go really off-roading. They're just more of an on-road biased tyre, and they work well. It's a large front wheel, 21-inch wheel and 18-inch at the rear. You've got Showa forks, and these are huge. They are 45mm electronically adjustable forks with a rear adjustable shock that's also electronic with preload. Suspension is really good, and of course you can adjust it to whatever you need. So whether you've got a lot of luggage and a pillion with you, you can adjust it for that, or if it's just yourself riding, you can lower the preload, adjust the preload, to do whatever you want to do really. It's electronic as well, so in the settings options you can adjust it for 1 rider, 2 riders and luggage, with luggage sort of on and off, and the preload will move the rear up and down. Really good little system, found it to be very useful. Okay, at the front you've got LED lights with cornering lights, which are very nice, and in the night they do illuminate the road quite nicely. I think they're quite bright though, because a lot of drivers would flash me to say your lights are quite bright, but the high beam wasn't on, it was just a normal running light. So yeah, I mean, dipped headlight by the way, not running light. It does have DRLs, which is another fantastic option. It's an adjustable screen. It is adjustable by pulling in both these and moving it up and down. I've always had it in the raised position, and it does deflect wind quite nicely. On long distance tours, when you're on motorways, it does quite well. You can duck in a little bit, at least for me, at 6'4", and it's a very comfortable place to be. Screens. Okay, so you've got the classic Africa Twin Dakar style twin screen. The top one has all of your functions, your modes. You can adjust it through tour mode, urban mode, gravel mode, off-road mode, are the 2 user modes, and basically it shows you varying amounts of information depending on which screen you've got it in. You've also got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is a fantastic addition, because you've got a USB socket here and a 12-volt socket on the left, so you can plug your phone in and just run the maps or music or calls or text, navigation, anything you want to do, you can do it through this. You do have to pair a headset to make use of the Apple CarPlay, and whether it's me as a person that just doesn't know technology, I think I do, but sometimes I don't, it always caused a problem. I've got to say, it would sometimes say that your headset's disconnected when it's connected. Sometimes it wouldn't connect. Sometimes it would be riding along and it would just say just random things. And when it works brilliantly well, but getting it to work is a bit of a faff sometimes. And I've already got enough faff putting gloves on and all that good stuff. So the bottom screen always shows your speed and your current drive mode, as well as, I believe, your odometer. Moving back, you've got really nice wide handlebar grips, got hand deflectors as well, and the switch gear, which is really comprehensive. You've got cruise control, you've got up, down, left, right buttons, the horn, of course, skip forward and backwards on the track, a little star button to adjust the Honda selectable torque control, and then you've got your manual up and down gears. One thing I find really annoying about the switch gear, really annoying, is that the buttons aren't backlit. So when you're riding at night, it doesn't have any of the buttons there for you. So sometimes you're sort of guessing which button you're pressing, like walking down a corridor that you don't know at night, and you're just sort of hoping you're not going to bump into anything. You're hoping you're not going to press the horn or up and down on whatever. Just a little bit annoying. So in the future generations, if they say there is now backlit buttons, to me that's going to be an absolutely huge addition. Moving a little bit backwards, the fuel tank is a 24.8 litre fuel tank, and you get around about 250 miles from it, which is massive. The Adventure Sports gets a little bit of a bigger fuel tank, the standard edition doesn't. Really good. I mean, you want a Tourer that can do 250 miles between stops, happy days. Moving back a little bit further, you've got the 850mm seat, which is also 870. There's a little bit of adjust in there, I believe. I've been running it at the 850 and it's been looking pretty good for me. Nice and comfortable. Long distance tours, your legs get a little bit stiff, but don't they always on motorcycles? Comfortable. Pillion seat is also right there above, a little bit above you at least. Grab rails and sort of luggage rails as well. My partner has jumped on the back and she said it was comfortable. She felt nice and secure on there, and the foot peg placement is pretty good, so she didn't feel like she was really perched up high. She felt like she could be quite comfortable for a long distance tour. Moving a little bit backwards, the exhaust, just as a throw-in note, because it sounds superb, I really like it. When you open up the throttle, there's a little butterfly valve that opens up the exhaust even more, and it just sounds incredible. Also, staying with the front, there is a little pretend brake lever. It definitely isn't a brake lever, but it's actually a handbrake. So you pull it in and it will lock the rear wheel because it's DCT. A very valuable thing to have. In terms of road manners and how it is to ride, it's incredible. It's so smooth to ride. Of course, if you flick it into the sportiest mode you can, with the DCT in its sportiest mode and the engine mode as sporty as it can, it feels incredible and so responsive, and the throttle is so engaging. It will hang on to gears quite long in its sportiest mode, but that's what you want. And if you're throwing it around the country lanes, you can keep up with anything, I reckon. So with the brakes here, you've got twin Nissin calipers with 310mm discs at the front. At the rear, you've got a 256mm rear disc. Ultimately, they do the job superbly well. They've got ABS dual channel, of course, and if you're trying to lock up the rear on dirt, it won't do it with the ABS on, but you can switch it around into gravel mode, so you can start skidding the rear about if you want to. Great fun, and they work nicely. One thing thrown with the tyres as well is they are tubeless and they are outer spoked wheels, so the spokes go around the outside. Look really nice in my opinion with the gold rim. Bang on. So this has been the 2022 Africa Twin model. It's an absolutely superb bike and it lives up to its legendary status. I've got to say, I absolutely love this thing. Whether or not you're going to be buying this one outright for £17,349 for the 2022 model, going for a maybe younger generation, which can be around £109 a month or around £15,000 I believe. It's a superb bike. It does it all. Whether you want to be adventuring, whether you want to be going around towns, doing lots of long distance tours, it will do everything you want it to do. The motor is superb. The gadgetry and electronics are superb. Shame about the backlit buttons not being there. I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, if I was to compare this with the NT1100, I would go for this just every single day of the week. The NT1100 is a great tourer, but this has got that little bit of attitude. It's got that little bit of style about it. riding this one around, people will look at it and be like, oh, that's a really nice bike, what's that? If they're not into motorcycles, or if they are, they say, that's an Africa Twin and I love it. Standard stuff really. It's got an iconic name and it's a legendary bike, and for that reason alone, I think it's superb. But thank you so much for watching. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. Comment what you think about this as the best adventure bike on the market. I think it could be. Subscribe as well to Visordown to stay up to date with all of our latest content, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.